Wow. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Transformation Tuesday, April 23rd, 2024. Let's take a deep breath in. I am so thrilled that this week, this month, this year, this life is Earth Week. And yep, it's our annual Katie Augustine Week where we are talking about this beautiful planet. But before we start, Transformation Tuesday has been going steady since March of 2020. Do you believe that, Katie? Yeah, yeah. Just you can take yourself off mute and just chime in. Yeah.
Oh,
It,
that's awesome, Judy.
yeah,
Wow.
it's March
Wow.
of 2020. Every Tuesday, with topics that transform because we're paradigm shifters and we are here dedicated to shift and uplift the planet. Why
Lift
not?
and uplift.
Yeah.
Woo-hoo.
Well, I want to start off, and we have a topic each month now, and in 2024, this is 2024. Come on, people. I mean, I shouldn't say it like that, but we are in awareness of our planet and environment is growing and growing. And the topic for April is allowing that power within to unfold. And so at the beginning of the month, there was that beautiful solar eclipse. We were in right here in Texas, we were in the line of totality. And sitting out in the backyard with my son and knowing that this is a moment of time, this is a moment of totality, and seeing the dark sky and the stars for 4 minutes before it came back. And now, what I'm noticing here is the new life that's happening, the new regeneration. And so, I wanted to start off with an earth blessing for today. So, let's take a deep breath in. And here's the affirmation: I bless the earth with love and gratitude. What a brilliant miracle the earth is. In a delicate, intricate balance, this beautiful, majestic planet sustains itself and all the life on it. I show my reverence by lovingly caring for my earth home. I take care to reduce my use of materials and resources, recycle what I can, and put items back into circulation instead of throwing them away. I bless my earth home with prayers of health and peace. I pray others around the world feel the same and join me in holding the health of our planet in prayer. I'm grateful for this miraculous, marvelous planet I am blessed to call home. With love and gratitude, I commit to doing all I can to live gently upon the earth. And for Marianne Williamson, this blew me away today because what came up for me was a little guilt for throwing those bottles away, for doing that. And one of the quote from Marianne Williamson said, "The meaningful question is never what we did yesterday, but what we have learned from it and are doing today." So with that, my friend Katie Augustine.
I love that. Really beautiful, really good reminder for all of us because we're learning as we grow. And as you said, step gently, but we can, learn how do we be more and more gentle and also take our stand for things as well. So beautiful, beautiful. Mm.
Yeah, well, it's all yours, Katie. I know you
Oh,
have so many
right,
great
right.
nuggets. I'm
Okay.
so excited that you're
Yeah,
here.
well, thank you for having me again, Judy. And this is, one of my favorite sessions to be with you, all of you. And, it's so interesting because I remember my first Earth Day that I actually participated in and walking with my sorority back in college. And I think we were doing like a cleanup too at the same time. And just thinking into all the many years and, in some ways, the good of the awarenesses that have happened. I know in Cleveland, they have a Earth Day Coalition thing at the zoo and really getting the awareness out. But also some of the, from I would say more of a corporate governance perspective, some of the awarenesses that haven't necessarily been, given the credit, the Earth credit as we would love. And so we're in this interesting time of what I would call a dichotomy of, even though each of us may be doing our part, conveniences are so easy, and again, because of the corporate aspects, it's just they're like right in front of us, right? And we're not connected to the consequences. And so then what does that mean? And so Earth Day for me has really gotten I don't want to say negative, but like more somber maybe, and a deeper meaning about it than like back in the day where I was like, Earth Day, yay, let's tell everyone about the earth. Now it's really about, we've got some work to do. And some of it's going to be the personal work that you're talking about, Judy, and that we're all doing. And some of it is, I think, demanding better and asking our leaders and others to step up. So I'll give a couple ideas at the end, Judy, about that. I do want to show, if you're good with this, a video from some Kogi elders that my ministry teacher, Jyoti Ma, has learned from and studied with over the last over a decade now. And so I've been learning through her from them. And so, but I want to set this up before we show it. And because for a couple of reasons. One is this is a tribe in they're called the Kogi Nation in Colombia, out of Colombia. So, and they just recently started actually coming out from the mountains where they've been all these years and sharing their messages, because they felt like it is time that humanity receives this beautiful message. And also, that because we've got to step it up, we've got to, there's kind of this, quote unquote climate crisis. It's time to now, like, let's take care of the land and do our thing. So the reason I mention that is, so some of these elders are now going around to sacred places around the world and praying and doing work with the people there. They, before the volcano in Iceland, they went to Iceland and they're doing work there. And my ministry group that travels with them, like some of these elders have never been on an airplane, have never even been in an airport or on an elevator. Like, so if you think about the amount of bravery, courage that it's taking for them, and also, just I don't know that this is even something they want to do as much as they feel like the message, it's time to share a message. In many indigenous cultures, there's this idea of cycles, and we're in the midst of a 26,000 year cycle. And so interestingly enough, some of what's occurring, we're seeing divisiveness or climate crisis or these different things, and some of it we think can be very personal, but I think also some of it may be part of the earth as an entity herself. And we think of her as her own living consciousness and being. And, she has the poles, she has the magnetics. And so she also goes through cycles. And so as magnetics change, the people, the creatures, the lands, the waters can change with that. And so we can, maybe that's a way of seeing the bigger picture around it. And so I set all that up to say, in this video that we're going to show, the Kogi prophecy, this was at the beginning of the year shown. It went viral. Many other than elders from other indigenous cultures came out and said, we have a very similar message and we've been wanting to share it. So this is now, has gone all over the world, this video. It can seem I believe there's a part of it that can seem very either scary or overwhelming, or like, is the world going to come to an end type of feeling. And I don't want us to hold it that way when we watch it. Unless, everyone can, you all are able to, you're the highest authority, you can do what you want. But my invitation is to lean into, we are each a point of light of consciousness. And the message is more to kind of wake us up So we start holding the consciousness we want, not just for ourselves and for humanity, but for the planet and her creatures and the ecosystems and the land and the water, the four-legged, the two-legged, the creepy crawlers. So what would we love? And I believe, Judy, your audience in particular is really open to let's hold consciousness for that now. And so that's the way I ask us to hold this. We can, after the video, I want to share what my elder, my teacher, Joy Tima, also says about it, because the Kogis have a letter now that shares like, actually, here's things you can do. And I think that's important to share too. But why don't we watch the video first, and then I'll go ahead and share that. And then I can share a little bit more about that. And thanks, Judy. Here we go. I think I'm sharing my screen. And Judy, I'll turn the volume down at first, but then turn it back up.
I am the mother. I am in the heart of the universe. Throughout all of time, I have never suffered from such heat or exhaustion. I have endured for the last 1,000 years. Since that time, my natural connection points, my rivers, reservoirs, and internal waterways across all continents have been obstructed and are full of pollution. I cannot cleanse or recuperate. In December of 2023, I will start to rise and move and turn, sending this message out to all my children around the world. The storms, the earthquakes, the hurricanes, and the rise of the ocean will come. If the governments, the sultans, the princes, presidents, and kings of the world do not listen and act, in 2 years' time, only 30% of the earth will remain. I am the mother. I have always endured despite arrows being put in my eyes and in my body. I am not seeking to defend myself. I remain calm. But now I must recuperate. There are 2 ways for me to heal. The first, I could take the law of nature into my own hands. This way, I will go in search of my medicine so I can cure my body, heal my energies, and all that I'm suffering from. There will be great changes on the earth. You will feel me recovering. You will feel me moving. I will not do this to cause harm to you. It will mean I am recuperating my body. Or the second way, all my children will make the healing happen for me, so I will not need to do it myself. I will put my older children in charge of my recovery. They will go and search for my medicines, for my cure, so I can be healed and recuperate with their help. You, my children, must all be united and deliver what is needed for your older brothers so they can do the healing where I have been injured by you, my younger ones. Each one of the rulers of the world, of the governments of the world, must say, yes, mother, I will stand with you. I will give my help to where you have been injured. I, your mother, have given you everything. When these changes start to happen, we will see whether you listen and act, or whether I myself will have to do what I must to recover the balance on Earth. If in just 6 months from now, by June 2024, You say, yes, we will provide what is needed. Then my oldest children will be able to help cure my body. If this message is ignored, I will take the law of nature into my own hands 1.5 years from that date. This is the message that the mother has given, she who is in the heart of the world.
So yeah, it's I would say can be an intense feeling, bring up some intense feelings up until now. And also though a really powerful message. And I love, part of what's happening with this message, this particular video got to COP28, the, meeting of the governances that at this point, it may or may not actually be legit on solving environmental issues. There's some the Gretas of the world will kind of question that, but the point is it got there and it started going viral, whether or not it got to actual government leaders. It started going viral from making it to the area where the meetings were being held. I think it was Dubai this year. And like I said, other than indigenous tribes are stepping up and saying, yes, we have the same message. Like we believe this is that turning of the tide, this evolutionary birthing period. And 2026 has been the date that a lot of have been talking about. The video specifically talks about, 1.5 years. So the reason I mention all of this is because I believe we have 1.5 years or and plus these few months here to hold a vision for what we would love for the planet. There's two ways, the message was there's two ways. The Kogi elders are sharing there's two ways. There is a letter, if you go to thefountain.com and you go to Kogi, the message from the mother, and then you go to, there's a letter underneath this video that actually shares more from these Kogi elders that share about some ways you can work with the land and take action. Any land, your land, a park near you, your plants in your house, but ways to really show respect for the mother and earth and nature and our ecosystems. So the message, while it's, deep and can have some intensity to it, as you do, Judy, and as I do, believe in consciousness. And I believe that we can hold a vision for what we would love for the planet, for our children and the 7 generations, right? As natives might say, but also, for the animals. Judy, I know you're such an animal lover. For the animals, for the water and the land and the, just seeing things green and blue and clean and in such good shape. And so, my invitation at this time, and as we're in Earth Day, is to say, we're at a bit of a tipping point. And as so the message that in particular, Joy T will share a lot from these elders is, she says, they'll say it's like the end falls into the beginning. And so if you think about a baby being born, right, there's that risk, the blood and guts of that birthing moment and the risk of death, but there's also the potential for what's being born out of these times. And for our planet, for all of us, what if we did get together and hold this vision for what we would love? Consciousness works. We know that. And so as we're holding a vision for the future, the animals, the ecosystems, I hold it every day in the daily agape prayers, just holding this idea of peace and harmony among all sentient beings. And so I believe that there's ways we can do this in the consciousness. And Judy, that's what I think you actually bring through your Transformation Tuesdays as well, as this way of holding a collective consciousness so that we can usher in these new times and have people ready, right, as we're bringing in, birthing in that baby, midwiving in that new baby, so to speak. I'll pause there because it looks like I said a lot there.
No, this is great. This is perfect. And it's that consciousness raising of, and you know what, and paradigm shifters, like you probably wouldn't be in this group if you didn't have some form of, like, paradigm, okay, we're going to shift it. And what if, let's add some what ifs. What if you believed you were a point of light?
Mm.
What would you love, and what action steps would you possibly be taking? It's one thing, well, yeah, it's like this week, but it's not just this week. This is an awareness. I think with the solar eclipse, there was an awareness there that I've never seen before. A study of what is going on, or like in a fascination. What if we kept that fascination going?
Oh, love that. Love that word, Judy. Fascination. Good word. Yeah.
What would you love? This group, I mean, let's put it out there. What ideas, what creative ideas? I mean, there are so many beautiful young people that I know who have decided to go into environmental studies.
Mhm.
That's their passion. And I'm like, all right. So
I love that.
what
My niece is going into environmental studies in college. She just had to pick her major. And so I love that there's so many people going into that. Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, can I ask you a question? Why is she deciding that? Do you have any
Well,
idea?
I think part of it is kind of growing up around, around me, always talking about the planet. And I mean, I'm not taking credit for it as much as just saying she's had someone in her life who has, shared, and her parents are good about it, but it's not their passion. It's one of my passions. So she's had someone in her life that's, would talk about the importance of nature, and then also the importance of taking stand, against things, so to speak, if it's not in alignment with what we would love. And so she's been able to see that. They also have a park they live in Stamford, Connecticut. So they have this park system that's gone up, the city has raised millions, and it's been a really neat environment for her to grow up in as well. So she's had a lot of understandings around her in holding the importance of the planet, the trees, the ecosystems, et cetera. The other thing, though, I think is it can be twofold. Some of our children feel that they love it and they want to go in to support and help, and others can feel overwhelmed by it. As just like I think all of us, right, as elders, so to speak. So where there's a part of it that I know I have friends that it's like, I don't even know I'm so overwhelmed. I hear about the planet, but I don't even know what to do, right? Like it's overwhelming to me. There's a great comedian, Bill, my partner being a comedian, I watch a lot of comedy. Nate what's his last name? Garbates. I'm blanking on his last name, but it'll come to me. But anyway, he'll talk about, he's like, yeah, they're telling me to save the planet, save the planet. And he's like, but I'm not that smart. I don't even know how rain is made. Like, I'm going to get on that saving the planet, but let me figure out how this rain is happening, because sometimes it rains and I don't see the clouds. And he's just Nate Bargatze, that's his name. He's hysterical. But I do think it can seem sometimes overwhelming and like a lot of pressure, and like I said earlier, the conveniences of how do we live. I mean, I flew this morning. Like, how do I do things in my day-to-day life, but also know that I'm going to have some consequence and footprint, as I take these actions. And how do I maybe offset that, but also decide to reduce some of those consequences? So it can be
I love
overwhelming.
it. Yeah, I love it. And what I've been saying to my clients when they say overwhelmed, I'm like, well, that's a paradigm. Whenever I
Yes,
hear you
thank
say,
you.
and it's like, whenever I hear the word overwhelm, I'm like, okay, well, that means that you're not doing anything. And
I
so
love that, Judy.
you're like, overwhelm is, I said, let's rephrase that.
Yeah.
Let's take that word out of your vocabulary. And what if we were whelmed?
Yes, love the word
Well,
well.
I'm whelmed by the beauty. I'm whelmed by the opportunities that I can breathe air, that I have make a difference because one person matters. So I know whenever I hear that, it's like red flag, red flag.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that's where I love that you said that because I was kind of going with that. So what's on the other side of it? And it's what you said earlier. What if I'm a point of light? If I'm a point of light, then I believe with overwhelm, as we shift, repattern the paradigm, there's actions we can take. And once we start taking actions, whatever we each may find our different actions, what's important to us. But as we start taking actions to serve the planet, I just think that goes away and we start to feel like, yes, I am making a difference. At least I know for me, that's how I feel. And then the other piece is really holding the vision. I really invite all of us to hold a vision for what we would love for the planet, because right now, when even this video can have a bit of like the intensity of like what's going wrong. But if we start holding a vision of what we would love and what's going right, there's some great people out there on YouTube and TikTok that are they show like all the good things that are happening right now, all the people that are cleaning up the planet and, fixing the coral reef and all these awesome things that are happening. So again, where our energy, where our attention goes, the energy flows. So how do we hold that vision and then take the action steps to serve it? Just like we learned from Mary Morrissey and many of our elders in our mentorship, Judy. But so that's kind of what I've been inviting people to do. Even with this video, it's like I invite us to all watch it to again remind us, like, let's wake up. We've got kids, grandkids, I have nieces and nephews. And more so, like, I got a lot of cats. I want them, and they're not gonna have babies at this point, but like I want all my little creatures out there to live on a planet that feels really life-giving. So I'm gonna hold a vision for that and then take actions to serve that. And so Judy, I don't know when you want to move into. There were a couple
Oh,
things
right now,
I wanted to get to.
like, okay, so people are like, oh, okay, well, what? Just give us some ideas. What are some examples? And
Okay.
for me, personally, it's um, my morning practice of immediately going outside, no matter what temperatures, and putting my feet on the ground and going to the four directions and really consciously bless every direction and that I'm part of that direction and also the sky and earth. But that's just a practice. But
Love that.
tell me, I know you've got a ton of actions that
Yeah.
possibly we've not ever thought about.
Well, I want to emphasize the action, the daily practice that you do, and just say that actually to me is an absolutely beautiful one. And I think more as the land hears us, right? Again, if we think of Mother Earth as her own consciousness, this entity that's alive, and so the respect, the love, dancing and singing, and I mean, this isn't about like being sad all the time. It's about being joyful with and on her. But I love that praying to the four directions. I love to also like look in the east as the sun's rising. And some of my elders have taught me to pour some water. So I have water out for stray cats anyway. So I'll like take one of the bins that's left over and pour it on the land just as like an offering in the morning. So I think that's actually a great place to start. Then a few things that I believe can be very helpful in most people's areas. I live in South Carolina, and there's usually groups that are, and the great thing about this is they're not political. So really on any political, wherever you fall politically, you can find groups that are supporting the environment. And it doesn't mean politics won't come into some things, because of course they will, depending on the state law or the county law or the local law that they may be looking at if that's part of what they do. But these organizations can really be supportive of making a difference locally. I think sometimes we think so globally and we see what's happening globally. And yet really the grassroots, right? Starting locally can make a big difference. Going to council meetings and sharing, especially if like in our area, there's a lot of development and there's clear cutting of trees. And so a lot of my friends that I met on not on Facebook, on Nextdoor, right? Like the neighborhood, Facebook, whatever you call that Nextdoor app. The people come together so that they can go to council meetings together and say, we demand better. Like we want you to put in contracts, not just we'll preserve the trees we can, but as like some of us that are attorneys and such, we know better. Like you can actually tell them how much of the nature you're going to preserve. The developers don't have to have the final say. So it sounds, there's all these different ways I think to get involved locally that can actually make a big difference for all of us globally. If we were all doing this in our different neighborhoods. Did you have a question, Judy? Or I saw you kind of go.
No, I'm writing this down. I'm just,
Okay,
yeah.
great. Other things though, to your point earlier, you mentioned some things that we can actually just do at home. Walk gently. I think from the affirmation you started us all off with, I believe that, for instance, the amount of just to pay attention when we buy things, the amount of plastic, as there's this, I won't get into the whole story about recycling and what's occurred the last 7-8 years, but since China stopped importing plastics, we just kind of found out that the way they were burning them wasn't necessarily the best, best recycling situation anyway. But now there's many places that have to, the cities and states picked up. But the truth is, the more we use, the more boxes we get from, and I do like being able to get my Chewy boxes, but the more we're doing that, even though it's like, oh, it can be recycled, not everything can. I mean, there's just a limit to what's actually recycled. And, first use is that the beginning of ultimate recycled or not ultimate use. So if there's ways to not get a box, not get a bag or a plastic box, bring your own little things like bringing your own takeout containers. If you are one person like me, always having leftovers, bring your own takeout containers to the restaurant. I wash out, if I use a plastic baggie and it's not like oily or something, I wash it out and reuse it a couple times, not forever, but just a couple times so that I'm not, using tons of these little plastic bags. The yard stuff we talked about, I think last year, but not using any, I actually don't even know about any fertilizers anymore because I think we've gotten to the point where, they're just sneaking stuff in there, so to speak. But if you have a good lawn guy, you can ask them what's in it and say, I want something organic. But no round, like I get it. Like you may want to keep up with the HOA and the neighborhood and the no weeds, but to be honest, no one's ever said anything to me. My grass has weeds as long as it's kind of green. And by the way, like in South Carolina, everyone's grass is brown by the end of the summer anyway. So I don't water. It's just, the amount of water we use to water grass, especially in areas, Phoenix and just areas that are having water issues, Colorado. I just heard them talking about this. Like that water doesn't have to be used for grass that is just really basically for looks. It's a surface level thing. There's a lot of, especially the younger generations that are moving into homes and planting wildflowers and other types of, not grass, but other types of things so that it's preserving versus using water and using fertilizers. That fertilizer, the glyphosates in our country are so high and the cancer causing, it goes right into our water runways. So it's with our pets, it's with our animals, with our bee, as our bees pollinate, and then it goes right into our water as well. So the more we can not use fertilizers, I just asked for I had one bug that I don't love to hurt anything, but one that had to have, but they have an organic that doesn't kill anything else. And it'll just like spot check the one little situation I had going on. Like there's always, I think, a way to, just ask and re-ask. And then what's so good about it is as one person asks, it opens up, like my one neighbor asked about the organic, and then I've told her I didn't want to use these systems because, of the fertilizers. And she's like, oh no, they used organic because my doggy's paws are sensitive. So, and then these companies start getting an idea like, oh wait, maybe our people do want the organic, whatever it is, long taken care of or bug things. So there's just ways. I think there's ways, and I think the one part of it is being willing to be outgoing about it. There's, for like, I'll tell people, I invite them not to idle. Now, the newer cars are a lot better than the old cars, but I'll still say, if you are in a drive-through, get in, unless you're sick at the pharmacy and you have to stay in the car, right? But otherwise, like, just get out of the car and go in the store. Like, it's not worth sitting in a long line or a stop, especially like just for a coffee or something. Get in, if you can't get up and go in the store, then come on, like, what are we doing? I know it seems convenient and it seems like the thing to do, but if we really think about it, wouldn't it be better for everyone involved, and especially those of us that have kids, if we want our kids to have a planet that is, enjoyable to live on, then I believe, we can all just take these steps. I believe, what I started with, getting involved locally in some type of organization that can really help you, because I can give you a few of these ideas, but really, when you're involved locally, they're going to give everyone there is interested in the environment. They have great ideas. You'll start learning I learn all sorts of things. And then the next thing you know, you can start changing local laws that, ultimately change regional laws, and can even, ultimately, change countries if we're willing to participate that way. So I said a lot there again, Judy, jump on in.
Oh no, it's great. It's great. I love the fact that I live like right outside of Austin. It's very environmentally, conscious, and that we don't have the big smokestacks down here. But there's a lot, and I love the fact that I can go out and breathe the air, and that and on the one hand, and on the other hand, there's still more. And that's like asking myself questions every day, because the quality of the questions you ask, and
Quality of your life,
if,
love it.
no, and so questioning myself every day is like, what is mine to do today for a vision of a beautiful earth for my kids, my grandkids, all the bugs I see. Um, I'm as I get older on my timeline, I'm slowing down. I'm noticing more and more of what I don't want. I wonder how I can say this, of the creatures that are being affected by um, pollutants.
Yeah.
Like the birds that are dying, or like the squirrels that kind of, and that makes me ponder and think, um, and accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can.
Yes.
It's that courage to change the things I can. And I think what you're saying is to be possibly the one that is the outspoken one in a gentle way. Have you ever have you ever thought of this?
Yeah, love that. Love that. I wish I was better at that, Judy, because honestly, my mother's like, isn't there a nicer way you could say that? But because I'm always like, don't do that. And but to your point, oh, have you ever thought, could we, maybe there's another way we could do this, right? I mean, that's a really good way to just open awareness and invite in, but also be courageous enough to say something. I think part of it is people don't want to offend each other. People are busy. I get it. Like, we don't, everyone's busy and doing their own thing. And yet, you know what, there are just better ways. Wherever we go, there's ways that, if we really think about it, we don't have to use so much. As we've literally kind of been programmed to be this kind of consumeristic society up until now. And it doesn't mean we don't buy anything or have anything, but we can also just really ask, wait a minute, do I really need that? Do I really even want that? Or am I just being told I must have that, I mean, those types of questions I think can be very helpful. So I love that you asked those questions, Judy.
Well, let's throw this out and throw it out. Let's put this out into this community for ideas, and we've got people from all over the planet here. What's your country doing? What are your children saying, and what are they doing and teaching in the schools in your country, and this and that? And let's create a conversation, conscious conversation about the environment and our planet, and let's just do this thing.
I love
And
it.
don't you think so, Katie?
Yes, I love it. I
Okay.
think the more we talk about it, the more we all can feel like, hey, we're all stepping up. We all want to do something. Like, teach me, like what can I know that I don't know? I mean, I learned from others when I was doing things that I didn't realize. Even the way I treat animals, not that I treated them poorly before, but I didn't even think about it as now where I see, to your point, every creature. And it's like, oh, wait, if we build that development, we're taking land away from someone's baby, like some little bird's baby or some little squirrel's baby. And is there a way to do the, just really tread lightly and then be courageous enough to attend a council meeting or say something to someone in line or whatever it is, in a nice sweet way that says, I'm just looking, I'm just really wanting the best for everyone as we, go on here, and for our kids. And it's
Yes.
out of the love of my heart. I'm not saying this to make anyone wrong or feel bad, as much as wouldn't we all love a planet? And I think, Judy, the key there still, again, like you said a moment ago, is holding that vision of what you really want, so that then you can, you're just motivated then to take these actions that serve that. So I love that
Oh,
you
great.
iterated
Well,
that.
we're gonna wrap this up about, and with just one little quote that I've been studying is planting seeds. And what if we planted seeds and we might not see the benefit in my generations, but how about our children and grandchildren? There's a great song by Daniel Namad, "Plant
Ah,
Seeds," and I think I'm going to put that in down there too. And what if we just started this movement right here, right now? So before we end with this, I'm so grateful that that I actually talking to you was something that just talking to you anyway, Katie. But
me too, Judy. Me too, Judy. Always love
Katie
it.
and I go way back. It's like, okay,
Exactly.
we're gonna do this, and we're still doing it.
Mm.
And so let me ask you, like, how we end is that, what can we hold for you, Katie? What
Oh,
would you love? I know you always ask people what they would love, but how about you, Katie Augustine? What
you.
would you love to have us hold for you?
Yeah. So, I love this question. I think right now it's similar to what we were talking about a little bit ago, is how to share messages like this, or a video like, the video, the prophecies, the messages and awareness, in a way that helps people want to hold a vision and take action, and not get, to your point, overwhelmed, not fall into some old paradigm and cycle, but in a way that says, we still have an opportunity here to make a difference. And we know that everything's energy and everything's consciousness. So what, for me, holding is that I feel like I'm really a message, giver here, a messenger around this. And to continue to find ways to share the message with love and with grace and with humility, so that others hear the message and also feel really good about the message and feel like they want to do something with it. So thank you for holding that. I appreciate that.
All right, Katie. So here we go. We're going to get ready to receive. Okay. All right. So here we go. Katie Augustine, point of light. Point of light. Being that bold action taker and bold speaker outer for the
Hmm.
planet. So here we go, Katie. We're sending energy all the way to
Oh,
you. Got it?
oh, received. Thank you. Thank you so much,
I
Judy.
love
Thank
you,
you so
Katie.
much.
Thank you so much. This has been so good. Really appreciate you.
So good. So good. Love you.